I'm Mike Cogburn with SS&C Technologies. I work in digital consulting and innovation as part of our digital solutions team. I'm here today to talk about the digital experience, specifically the digital experience that asset managers provide to their end customers, mainly financial advisors and end investors. Now, chances are if you're watching this, you're well aware that you have to deliver on the demand for a better digital experience and to continue to do that to remain competitive. But the demands for digital experience are directly impacting how your customers expect to work with you, and in some cases, whether they do or not. First, I want to talk about financial advisors. Their expectations to digital continue to rise, just like anybody else's. Most of them are somewhat disappointed in the experiences that they get from asset managers. In fact, just 5% of them strongly agree that their expectations are being met. Now, couple that with the fact that for the past several years, they've expected that their interactions with your firms would be predominantly digital by this year. Now, we monitor inbound phone calls and sales meetings, and those numbers continue to drop as well. So the bottom line is, advisors want to interact more digitally, but they're looking for a little bit more. Now, for the leaders who are able to engage financial advisors more so, it's really paying off. In fact, advisors say when they're making product decisions and they've narrowed it down to a couple of similar products to consider, many of them, almost 3/4 of them say, for the firm that recommends relevant content on their website to them, that could be the tiebreaker in making that decision. We've also looked at how digital engagement may drive sales in terms of the numbers of the pure sales lift. And imagine, if you will, a graph with 4 quadrants, one showing advisor that is engaged digitally, and is also met with a wholesaler recently. Another quadrant being they've done neither of those, and then the remaining 2 quadrants meaning they've done maybe one of each. We have created that graph, and we found that for the firms that can drive digital engagement, specifically through the website, and also are maintaining contact with their sales team, their gross sales are 33% higher than the average. Now, what can you do to get advisors' attention? We find that firms that provide the most timely info, and specifically information they can't get elsewhere, drive that engagement up. We also talked about being relevant to them. So you need to use what you know about those advisors in order to do that. Use it to anticipate their next question or a problem that they may be having. Do it digitally. That may be when they log into the website. That may be which types of emails are triggered to those advisors and what campaigns they fall into, and constantly learning how to improve that, make that better, without sending them anything that isn't relevant, because that's only going to do the opposite. Now, what about investors? Younger investors who work with advisors, they like to do their homework on the advisors and the investments that they're being chosen for them. In fact, we found in a recent survey that 90% of advisors find clients are more hands-on over their investments in the past 3 years. We're publishing an industry report on that, addressing how firms can do a better job for this group and their advisors shortly. In the meantime, I would say think more transparency and more relevance to them as well. Now, we have more firms in the industry, we've all seen it in the headlines as of late, that are starting to market directly to retail investors this year. And through almost all of the client conversations I've had this year with marketing, digital, and even operations leaders, we're finding that most firms are at least considering it, even if they're hesitant to do so, and being sensitive to the relationship they have with advisors. But it's a hot topic. If you're one of these firms thinking of going after this market, I'd recommend that you keep digital simple. Just be easy to do business with. Right now, that's not necessarily the case. In fact, we reviewed 54 asset manager websites in 2019 and found that just 16.7% of them allowed investors to open and fund an account online, whether website or mobile app. Make it easy for them to give you money. If you have convinced them through your marketing efforts, sales efforts, or what have you, that they want to do so. Next, I think it's important to think about mapping out the moments that truly matter. When do investors make decisions? When do they make decisions to invest in your funds or divest out of those funds? Map those out. I think that's an exercise that can be done with both marketing and operations teams, and really figure out what are the most important points of time when they make those decisions, and then bring relevance to those moments. So, for example, if it's a retirement, your retirement firm, and you know that someone is exiting a 401k plan, how do you capture the idea of them to roll over either into an account with your firm, or to at least let them know to stay with the investment that they may have been happy with, that performed well? Or maybe out the other end of the spectrum, where someone's getting ready to retire, or they are retired and they need to start taking the minimum required distributions out of those accounts. How do you, in the moment where they learn how much money they need to take, prompt them, nudge them to keep the money at your firm, open a new account, whether it's for themselves or a child or a grandchild? These are the things that are going to matter. These are things that, quite frankly, most firms aren't doing yet. I would then push you to think about digital as more than just your website. We are exploring and researching channels such as text messaging, voice assistants, live chat, chatbots, you name it. We'd love to partner up and talk to that with you. Or if you're working on it yourselves, I think it's a good idea to at least start thinking about ways that the information you have to bring them could manifest themselves in these channels. And instead of hoping that investors or advisors come to you to find such information, come to your site, for instance, it's time to think about bringing the information that these folks want to them. Now, the digital experience matters to the entirety of your firm. Is a huge reflection on your brand. And that's not just a marketing responsibility, that's a responsibility of everyone at the firm. We have seen more interactivity between marketing operations folks than we have in the past, and I think that's why. Most firms understand the importance of investing in and enhancing the digital experience. It's also going to help scale your business operations. The more requests that you can take, whether it's through a website, an app, even a chatbot, the less phone calls, the less mail need to happen. And those are expensive channels as well. And look, the industry is crowded. You're competing in a market with thousands and thousands of funds, many of which have the same name as one another, with just your brand name versus your competitor's brand name in front of it. Right now, digital experience is a differentiator for those who are working on it, improving it, and meeting the customers where they're at in their day, where they're at in their life, what screen they're on, you name it. The deeper relevance you can provide to them in those specific moments are what is going to help you stick out in this crowded market. Look, we believe if you're going to do it, you need to do it right. Operations and marketing teams must be on the same page. Sales must be on the same page. You need to be working together. Invest in the type of experience you'd expect in working with a bank or an online broker or a robo-advisor. Let's get rid of the paper, the phone calls, the faxes. Let's think through ways to work with your customer digitally, first meaning with the website and then beyond it. And at SS&C, we take great pride in helping our clients flesh out these experiences, helping them create scale, and helping them delight their customers all at the same time. Please reach out anytime. We're here for you. We hope that this was informative. Thank you.